This is Mary McCosker. It's Tuesday, August 1st.
Tell me about your childhood memories of libraries.
Well, libraries are very important to us. I lived out in the country, and we always went to a library to which we did not belong. And the Porterville Library is a good library. And also, when I went to school in Porterville, I'd go down there to the library to wait to be picked up to be taken home, because I lived 10 miles from town.
What were your favorite childhood books? Did you like any books in particular?
Oh, I don't remember. I liked almost all the books, but I remember especially Peter Pan and Wendy when I was very little, and Mother was reading it to us. And I told her to close the cover and then start over again.
What awareness of community did you have while you were growing up in Porterville?
Of course, we didn't live in the community. Awareness of community.
I mean, you lived out of town?
10 miles out of town.
Okay. So you knew there was Porterville, which is where you grew up?
Well, that's where we went to school mostly. That wasn't the nearest town, but that's where mostly we went to school, and so that was where most of our friends were. And my parents' friends are scattered around in different communities in the area.
What did your father do?
He was an orange and olive grower.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. Now tell me about your education.
Well, I went to the first grade in Porterville, and then I got so many colds and things like that that Mother wanted me nearer home. So then I went 2 years to a little school 2.5 or 3 miles away, and that was in Strathmore. And then in the 4th grade I went back to Porterville.
Okay, and then after that you went to high school?
I went to Porterville High School for 3 years, and then I went to Sarah Dix Hamlin School to board for my senior year.
And then?
That was in San Francisco. And then to Berkeley.
Okay, and then did you graduated from Berkeley? Did you have to go further to get your?
I got my master's in teaching credential in the next year, in 1945.
At Cal?
Yeah.
And so talk about your work experiences in your life.
My work experience.
Your teaching profession, I guess I should
Yes.
say.
That's my main work experience, although I was a reader and section leader occasionally at Cal. Well, I taught 4 years in Salinas High School, and then 2 in Antioch in order to make a break to get into the Bay Area. And then at Acalanes High School, my principal at Antioch actually spoke to Mr. Parsons, I guess, who's superintendent, and suggested that they might want to hire me, and that's why I came here.
So when I ask you what attracted you to Lafayette?
It was a job opportunity.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Lafayette?
Well, I've lived here since then, 51.
What are your earliest memories of the Lafayette Library?
Well, it was a little house under the trees, and it was a cute little place with books stacked everywhere. I don't see how the librarians were able to do all their work. But it was a cute little place. We also went to other libraries, though, in the area, because it just wasn't sufficient. And some of my students even went to Cal, to the library there, although I didn't approve of that, because that's really for the university.
Now, do you personally use the Lafayette Library now? Or?
Yes, but not a great deal.
Okay.
I buy my books a lot.
And what, how do you feel that a library serves a community?
Well, of course, it serves it very well. It's a center of learning and research, and well, it's just there. It's a big part of the community, really. In a way, it's an intellectual heart of the community, and it serves the schools, of course, very well.
Have you been involved in the library at all, the Lafayette Library, over the years?
No.
Okay. What other community projects or organizations have you belonged to in Lafayette?
The Lafayette Design Project, the Lafayette Historical Society. I was on the Sign Commission before it was, the year before it was phased into another commission. seems to me there was something else, but I can't remember.
I think you've been involved with the cemetery district, right?
Oh, of course, the cemetery district.
Right. Now, 1940 library, you kind of talked about what you remembered about it. Was it built when it was built when you arrived?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't know anything about do you remember any of the people who were involved in the library when you first became
No.
associated with it? Okay,
No.
so you don't remember the librarian or anything like that?
No.
Do you remember them building the new library, or not the new library, but the 1960s?
You know, I was trying to think of it, and I can't remember a thing. And I don't know what they did about a library while one was demolished and the other was being built.
I wonder if it moved to town hall.
Well, of course, it was in the town hall earlier.
That's
and
true.
at one time, maybe they moved it back.
I don't know. I don't remember, and I should
No.
have, 'cause I lived here too. But so we don't know how they raised the money for it, or
No, but of course, having a library in Lafayette goes way back in history, so it must have been a community effort.
right. I'm sure it was. Now, were you involved at all in the study that they had for the new library they're building?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So they talked about.
Well, there were several sessions where they asked for people's input. I was there.
Okay.
That was all.
Okay. Is the new library important to you?
Yes, I think it's very important for the community.
Okay. In what way would you think it's important to you?
Well, just the name. It's the Library and Learning Center. I think it's very important. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm kind of excited about the history room there too.
Well, the history room is important, and having the Friends of the Library book room there is also very important.
What, why do you think that Lafayette, citizens of Lafayette have responded so enthusiastically to this new library project?
But it's an intellectual community, and having the resources there is very important. And then I think the fact that you're going to draw in important speakers is also very important.
What do you look forward to having this library do for you? I mean, can you maybe attend programs there, or?
Well, I think, to me personally, the most important thing is having the Historical Society have its room. But of course, I'll use the library facilities if I want to.
But you can come and sit in the history room and help too.
Yes.
We'll all be doing that.
Yes.
Someone said that the internet would kill the printed word and libraries would become obsolete. How do you think our library will avoid such a fate?
Well, I think they'll have internet facilities in it, won't they? But they've been saying that a long time about the internet, and I don't know. To me, there's something important about having the object in your hands. The tactile sense is very important to me.
I can remember when we were having those discussions about the library, and Walt Lautenberg said that people could just get books on the internet, and you didn't need those. And I when I could hold the book in my hand or put it in my purse and take it in the car.
No.
Right. Do you think that having this new library is going to enhance the sense of community in Lafayette?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Got anything to add to that?
Well, it'll be a gathering place.
I think too. Is there anyone else that you can think of off the top of your head whom we might want to interview for this process that we're doing? Anybody, if you have any names, we might have already talked about them, but just in case.
Well, probably Joan Merriman. She seems to be a source of information. I don't know of anybody else who's around.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. Say what you want.
When the little old library, the little old house was getting pretty old and it was about to be demolished, the librarian told me that a child asked what they were going to do with the little library because they loved it. And she said, "Oh, probably take it out into the hills and burn it." And the child burst into tears.
Well, they actually moved it. It's over on Dewing. It became an office building.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So it's not the first building in Lafayette that's been recycled, moved and recycled.
For heaven's sake.
We had a letter from a woman whose she and her husband have a business and they're renting space, and the landlord told them that it was the old library. And so Mary and I tried to figure out by looking at it, and so we weren't positive, but we do think it got moved.
For heaven's sake.
So,
Oh, so the poor little child didn't need to cry after
no, it
all.
probably ruined his life, huh?
Yes.
So that's neat. Okay, well,